Okay, next.
All right, I just joined. Like others said, I just got the email, and then I felt like it would be very important to have participate in this section. So I'm also a graduate student in predictive analytics. So
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Somebody just joined right now. We are just saying, oh, I think people are just falling into this. Um, so basically, to others who didn't get the chance to go, I will basically saying our names, what level you are, and why you're looking forward to getting to that. But for the sake of time, I'm just gonna do this. So the ultimate goal of this workshop is that I'm gonna talk about SQL, right? And I'm gonna basically talk about the basics of them. So at the end of this, you want to know how does SQL work? What's the syntax with SQL? Um, because there's like a foundation behind it. And I did one time teach somebody this SQL in a space of 1 hour, and they understood the concept. So I figured I think I should try it with a bigger group. So just a side announcement. I am also teaching Java, started yesterday. Basically, the whole goal of what I'm doing, we do Java 3 times a week. If you're interested, I'll put my number here. You reach out to me. We put you in the software engineering group. I'm building something known as APSU codes. So what we do basically is we go through Java, and then we also go through interview preparations, so that when the interview round comes in, you are all ready for that. And also I do a little bit of resume help, meaning I'm going to assist you to get to put the resume top notch, while we also give you the skills that you need. We realize that APSU doesn't have something that trains people technically, and I head it to these big companies that we work. I'll be with Goldman Sachs Software Engineering. I want to have more APSU students in those big companies, and it's not really something that is rocket science. It's something that all of us can do here. Okay, back to SQL. Uh, so SQL is one of the SQL is just regarded as a database language, right? The reason why it's a database language, basically, I'm not gonna talk about who created SQL and stuff like that, because at the end of the day, those are not the things that actually matter at the end of the day, right? So I'm gonna talk about what SQL is, how the syntax is, and I'm gonna do it in a PowerPoint version. The thing is with SQL, for you to write it, you wanna have the environment. But in order for me to bring the environment here and work along with you, it would be quite pointless, because it takes quite a long time for you to actually have the environment. So we're going to do it on paper. We're going to have it in our head. Let's see. Oh, okay, cool. I'll do that. Okay. So if you have any questions, you mute yourself, you stop me. There's no problem with that. So what is SQL? Come on. Hey. Okay, there you go. There you go. So SQL is the standard query language. Basically, it's used for manipulating data, right? It's the structured query language used for manipulating data, right? So what do I mean by data manipulation? Think about this. So for you, uh, if you see me stopping, it's like a lot of people are coming in. I don't know how to prevent two people to just automatically join in. I hate Zoom. I like doing this in class. Um, so the structured query language, that's what SQL is. So think about this. Different programming languages are good at one thing. I mean, they're good at a lot of things that they are best suited for what they were actually made for. So when I look at Python, Python is very good for data, for creating, like data analytics. When you're running a business, you want to run the analytics, you use Python. If you want to build an application, you're going to use Java. And if you have this data, and if you have a place that is such a huge container and it has a lot of data, and you're working with a company to actually go into that data and remove important information from the data that you have in that one container, that's when you use the structured query language, right? So that's why it says structured query language. But then there are different versions of SQL. So you are going to have MySQL, you're going to have SQL Oracle. It literally almost just means the same thing, but the different places where you can actually be writing the code. So if you understand what I'm going to be talking about today, you're going to be okay with SQL. Okay, so think about this. So SQL will only work when you're dealing with data that is actually in a table, right? So you want to have data and you want to have data in a table. So SQL structured, something should be structured first. And in this case, these tables, like the data in here is actually structured, right? I want you to put your eye into three things that I'm gonna talk about. They're gonna be very, very important as we go forward. This table, right? We have the name of the table. The name of this table is product, right? Yeah, the name of this table is product, and the product is the name of the table. A P name, price, category, manufacturer. Those are called attribute names. So every table has a name, just like me. For example, if I walk and I'm a table, the name of my table is going to be alpha, right? And then if you start by looking at things like the chest, you know, like my heart, my hands, my toes, right? Those are my attributes, right? Then now the veins that are inside my heart, that becomes the rows. So that's how it works. High level, we have a table. And whatever table we have, that table has a name. And inside that table, there are attributes of the table. So attributes of the table are basically things like what are the different types that we can find inside this table. So in this case, the name of the products that is in the table, the price of the products, the category of the products, and the manufacturer. And those names on top should always be different. So we can't have price. We can't have category. It has to be different. And in SQL, they call that atomic, which is just a fancy way of saying the name should be very, very different. You know, imagine if even the product names themselves, I mean, even the table names themselves should be different. Because if you have two tables with all the same name, it's going to be hard for you to query because the computer is going to ask you like, hey, where do you want me to take this data from? So the name should always be unique. Your table name should be unique. And the same thing as your attributes should be unique. And then inside the attributes, that's where you have the rows, and they're also called that's when you have the that's when you have the rows that are also called that's when you have the rows that are also called the tuples. So tuples is just another way of saying rows. And it's also just another way of saying the particular point, I mean, the particular things that are inside each attribute. So this is the image I want you to have. This is very, very important for you to understand. With SQL, we're dealing with structured data in the form of a table. Yes, I'm going to show you how to actually create a database, or how to actually create a table. Yes, you can do that. But for the sake of, understanding, and for others who are just starting, this is the thing that I want you to see. I want you to understand that number one, SQL is used when you're manipulating data that is structured, like data in form of a table. That table that we're talking about has a name, right? And in this case, the name of this table is called product. And inside that table, the headers, like the the name, the price, the category, and the manufacturer, that are called attributes. And then the little things that are inside each attribute, those are called either rows or tuples. The reason why I want you to understand this is because in the syntax of SQL, it actually picks from there, right? So, okay, so just to carry forward from what I was saying. So if we're looking at what is known as the schema of a table, right? It's basically, so if you ever hear somebody talking about, what is a schema? What's the schema of this table? People be talking about schemas and schemas and schemas. Those are some of the keywords. Take note. These are just words that I'm throwing out there that we're going to use later on. So I just need to be writing them down and understanding what it means. So a schema is basically the table name, and the attributes that it actually have. So if somebody's writing down, if you ever see something written down like this, product, P name, price, category, manufacturer. This is the schema of this table. But then if you look at the previous picture, this is basically the same information, but in this case, it's here in such a different way. So schema is just another way of showing data that is in a table, right? And instead of saying in the product, the product that you're seeing right here is basically outside, which means this is the name and these are the attributes. We just removed the rows, because at this point, when you're looking at schema, you're looking at the high level. So if you hear people talk about the star schema and some of your classes, basically we're looking at high level, and we're just saying we're looking at information that can be put in a table without putting the rows in there. Then there's something called keys, right? A key, the definition here is just basically a key is an attribute. Okay, if I say attribute, that might confuse you. Remember what I said an attribute is. We had the product name, we had the table name, and then under the table name, we had the different headings that we're saying, you know, price, category, manufacturer. Those are what are known as keys, right? Those are what are known as keys, right? Those are what are known as the attributes. So, but then if there is an attribute that is actually underlined when you're looking at a schema, that is the key. And basically the key, that is something that is unique, meaning it's something that cannot be the same in the same table. So I'll go behind here. If you look at the product name, right? There's Gizo, there's Power Gizmo, there's Single Touch and Multi-Touch. All of these things are different because P name is the key, right? But if you go to price, we can find two same prices. Like for example, category, we have gadgets and gadgets, right? But in this case, the key has the things that are all of the elements inside that column should always be unique. That is what a key is. And every table has one thing that is actually a key. And it's normally called the primary key of the table. So if you hear them talking about the primary key, they're just talking about an attribute that has unique elements in it. If you have anybody with a question, you can stop me and then I'll be happy to explain that. So that is what the key is here. And then in this case here, when you're writing it from the form of a schema, that's something that you just underline. Okay, every single programming language has data types, meaning what type of information does this program actually use, or the language actually use. So with SQL, we have characters, and here it says character 20. What it means is that whatever information you're going to put in a variable is just you assigning something. For example, if my name is Mukwano, and we say Mukwano is equals to 50, right? That basically means Mukwano is equals to, like, I put my name on it, like Alpha. The name Alpha has been assigned to the variable name Mukwano. So Mukwano shouldn't be more than 20 characters. That's how it actually works. And then vcar, that basically means the variable character. And that 50 there in there means that the single digit, the single characters inside the name, that whatever information you're going to put here should not be more than 50. If they're more than 50, it will give you an error, right? By atomic types, normally there are many, but we just like categorize them into basically like 3. So we have characters, and you have character and variable character. Those are literally one and the same things. And then we have numbers, right? A number can be an integer. An integer is just any number. An integer is any number. If you're looking at it from a Java programming perspective, an integer is something that is called, it has like 4 bytes. It stores almost any number between I think it's around 9 billion to around 50 billion, negative 50 billion to positive 50 billion. That's what an integer is. It is a particular data type that stores that amount of a number. But in this case, any number you use in SQL, you use integer. But if you're gonna if you're going to assign your variable to a number that is exceptionally big, that's when you use big int. People, SQL is literally speaking in English. So instead of saying other places would have a fancy name for the integer, SQL calls it big integer. And for the small integer, SQL calls it small integer. So those big integer and small integer is just the same as saying an integer, but if your number is exceptionally big, that's when you choose it that you use a big one. Or if your number is just small, you choose to use the small integer one. But at the end of the day, most people basically use just the int, the int, because it does the same job. Then float. Float uses to deal with numbers that are like long, like 3.45678 going forward. So if you have a number like that, it's going to be classified as a float. And later on, I'm going to show you where this is important. And then also we have, like, you know, the money sign, the date time. Those are some of the different data types in SQL. If you have any question, you let me know. So we talked about a tuple, right? A tuple, and we said tuples or rows, right? That is literally basically just saying it's just a record. Remember, just visualize that picture of the table that I said, and then I said the tuples, that's the information that is actually inside the table, right? And basically it says the restrictions is that in that information, for example, if you're under the one that has got the primary key, all the information you put in there should always be atomic. Then we talked about the table. They're basically saying a table is a set of tuples, meaning the table is just a set of rows, a set of different records. So we can have a table of soccer ball cells, right? It's just going to be a table of all the different records of soccer balls. So that is what, and then if you just go in and take one record, that is the tuple, that is the row, and that's basically is the row of a table. Just like when you're looking at the table, that one column that said, you know, like so and so bought 10, so and so bought 10 balls, right? And then maybe they'll say Thomas bought 10 balls, Rita bought like 15 balls. Who else do we have there? Rose Jane bought like 18, and then Amos bought like 52 balls. So those are the different records, right, of the things that were bought by these people. And then if I combine that, I form a table. And then I'll take, after taking all those different purchases that they did, I form what is known as a table. Then I'll give this table that I formed a name, and I'll call it soccer ball cells. So soccer ball cells becomes the name of this table. And on top here, and inside that table, I'll have a column that says number of balls bought, and the other one that says name of the person who bought it. So that name of the person who bought it and the number of balls that were bought, that are the attributes. And the name column becomes my primary key in that sense, because not everybody in there has the same name. I hope that actually that was a good example, and I hope it makes sense. Okay, now we're looking at the query. This is the query. So in SQL, the query is like this. You always start with the select from where, right? This might look a little bit scary, but bear with me. Select. Remember the table I showed you earlier? The one that we had a box, we had the table name called product, we had the different the table names called product, and we had the different attributes on there, like you know, like the price and the persons who bought it, etc. Right? So I wanna get a piece of paper here and see if I can explain it in a. Let me write my table down, but hopefully people are gonna say. Hopefully, can you can you confirm you can all see? Can somebody confirm that they can see me, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, like that. Then I wanna I want to talk about the soccer ball cells, right? Soccer ball cells. Soccer ball cells.
So I can see you, but I can't see if you're writing on something.
Oh, yes. I'm just writing it down right now. I'll say name. I'll say number of balls sold. And then I say state. Okay, so I'll just check random random. I'll start with like Rita. I'll follow with melody. All right. Akambe. Then this is 4, this is 8, this is 15. Then we're all in Tennessee, right? Tennessee. Okay. This is what I wrote. I have such an ugly handwriting. Don't bear with me. I should have been a doctor. So when I say soccer balls, so soccer balls becomes the name of this table. Remember, we say the structured query language deals with information in a tabular form. Then we have this table that is created here. And we said these names here that you see here, like the name, number of balls, and state, these are called attributes, right? These are called attributes. And this one that is underlined, and this one that I just put a mark there, becomes my primary key. The reason why it's a primary key is because numbers in here, the information in here is not the same. It should be unique. Mm-hmm.
We can't see anything. I mean,
you can't see anything. Okay, so if you can't see anything, let me go back to my, okay, let me use this table. I wish I had a marker that I could use to write this. Can it work? Okay, there you go. I don't want the spotlight. Okay, so this one here that you see right now, that's the product name, right? So when in that statement, when you say select, if we say select, right? If we're saying select, we are focusing on here, on the attributes. Hey, what's happening? Erase. Okay. Let me do, okay, now this should be better. Okay, so if we say select, we're looking at this right here. If we say select, we're looking at this. So whenever in SQL, if we say select, we are basically looking at this column. We are looking at these attributes. So when we say select, we're looking at these attributes. So we say select, you choose what you want to select. Either you want to select the product name, the price, the category, or the manufacturer, right? And if we say from, remember the syntax is select from where. So the first select, that is always in, it's not really case sensitive, but normally people write in all caps, but it's not really case sensitive. If you say select, your mind should tell you that you are looking at a table and you're looking at the information, that at the attributes. We're looking at the attributes. Which attribute do you want to select? So if you say select, think of the attribute. For example, you say select, we say product name, right? From. Now, if we say from, we are now asking ourselves, where are we going to pick this product name from? And it should become from, where are we going to pick this from, this information that we want to get from? And the answer is you always pick that information from the name of the table. So you say select product name from product. Why? Because product is the table name, and product is the table name. And if you go to that table name, it will give you all the information that is installed in that table. So if you say,
is it working backwards? So like if you wanted to select your attribute as price, you would select from product, which is the overall table.
Yeah, so you say select price from product.
Got it.
Right, and then whenever whatever you output or whatever you're going to choose, you have to choose. So in the select statement, right? Whatever you put in your select statement is what is going to be outputted. So if you say select product name, price, and category, select product name, price, and category, automatically it should tell you in your head that your output and your output result always comes in form of a tabular form too. So your output result is going to have the product name, the price, and the category of whatever you're going to choose. So if you say select product name, price, and category from, then you go to the name of the table from product, where now gives you a particular condition, right? So now you are specifying exactly what you want to take. So if you say where a P name is equals to Grismo, right? What does that mean? That tells the computer that I want you to go to the table and I want you to output the product name, the price, and the category in the table called product, where the name of the product, where the product name is equals to Gizmo. So what the computer will do will come here and show you these three things.
Is it case sensitive? Like, for example, if I entered Gizmo without a capital G, would it still be able to locate the where?
Yeah, it's case sensitive when it comes to the product, like to the names of the attribute. So you want to have everything that actually matches. It's not case sensitive when you're saying using like the select statements, the from statements, but it's sensitive when you're looking at the attribute names. Okay, so I have a follow-up question for you. If you wanted to select these three things here, singleton, if I want to select this one here, if I want to print these things out, right? Singleton, 149.99 and photograph, like what should my statement be? Can somebody try it?
I think you're gonna do in the where statement. So if you want to select you're gonna say p name, where p name is or equal to single touch, and I don't know the syntax you're gonna use, maybe comma and then price equals to is, and then category. I don't know if it's gonna work. Just
okay, that's
select. I think select should be P name, price, and category. Where should be single touch, comma 149.99, comma photography.
Okay, that's almost close, both of you. I'll give you a good clip. So if you want to print these three things, right? P name, price, and category. You say select P name, comma, price, comma, category from product name. From the name of the table, which is product, where a product name is equals to Gizmo. And because in your select statement, you highlighted the three things you want, those are the three things that are going to be outputted. So when you run that, these three things are going to be shown. Because you don't really have to say select product name, comma, price, comma, category from product, where product name is equals to Gizmo and price is equals to 19.19 and category is equals to gadgets. That will most likely work, but you just brought in a lot of work. Like you'd have over repeated yourself. Because like I said, always remember what you put in your select statement. The attributes you put in your select statements are the attributes that are going to be showcased. They're the ones that you're going to see if you run it. So if you already said it in the attribute, just find one of the, and I use the primary key, the unique one, because I knew if I get the unique one, then everything is good. But for example, if I say select product name, price, comma, category from product, and I say where category is equal to gadgets, right? What are the things that I'm going to see?
Gizmo and Power Gizmo.
Yes, there you go. Right. And I'll see, because I said select product name, price, and category, even though my condition was where category is equals to gadgets, because I put those three things in the select statement, it's going to show me everything from Gizmo 19 gadgets and Power Gizmo 29 and that. So that is actually the syntax of SQL. That is the basic syntax of SQL, how it's actually related to the table. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, I'm gonna give people about, anybody who would know this can just say it out loud. I want to print everything. I want to print singleton, 1449, photography, Canon, right? What type of statement should I put? What type of syntax am I going to use, and what type of statement will make me come to this, will make the computer to come to this table and only remove the tuple, or that row, everything in singleton? Anybody who wants to try it? Anybody?
Can you come again? I mean, I didn't get the question very well.
Okay, I'll come again. So the question is, I want you to go to this table and print and showcase, meaning print. I want to return everything here under the product name singleton. Like I want my result to be everything in here. What statement? What statement can you write? What select statement can you write?
We want to see everything in the table, excluding the single touch, right?
No. We want to see everything in single touch only.
Only. Oh, okay. I think you're still going to use the select statement. You select P name, price, category, and manufacturing from products, and then in your where statement, where you now exclude, you have to exclude the row that has single touch with I don't know if minus is going to work or.
Okay, it's a good try. Yeah, let's start afresh. Let's work it together. Let's start afresh. You say what?
So you select you select from, so you select product name, price, category, manufacturer.
Yes.
From product. Then in your where statement, you have to now give the command or write the query that where P name, what you want to see is only single touch, right?
Yes.
Where P name, price, category, manufacturer is equals to single touch. I don't know. I don't.
You're almost there. You're almost there. Can somebody come in and assist him in there? You literally have done 98% of everything.
Okay.
That's how,
yeah, I agree with him. I think it should be P name equals single touch.
Exactly.
So it'll pull everything that's linked. Like it's kind of like a X and Y. It's pulling everything from all the columns that synchronize with that row of single touch.
Okay, now nice. You did well. So you say select P name, price, category, and manufacturer. The reason why we say select P name, price, category, and manufacturer is because in your select statement, you have highlighted the different columns that should be present in your output, right? But I hadn't taught you a single way, a cheaper way to do it, because sometimes you're dealing with tables that have got like multiple attributes, meaning they've got multiple columns, like if price, category, this, number, ID number, stuff like that. That's a lot. So you just say select, and then you put the star, the asterisk. It's called the asterisk. So you say select, and then you put the asterisk. Asterisk means I want every attribute in a table. right? So if you say select and then you put the asterisk, it will pull up every single attribute in a table. And then you say from product. That's the name of the table that you're taking information from, where p name is equal to single touch. And then that it will give you that. It will give you that, all that information. And the reason why it will do that is because in our select statement, that always mirrors what is going to be outputted. We had put that we need everything outputted.
Is there a notation? Sorry, is there a notation for that first one you mentioned?
Which one?
The one that gives us all the attributes. Is there a notation for it?
The one that gives us
all the attributes.
Yes, it's a
Asterisk.
it's an asterisk.
The asterisk.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is the notation? Is there a notation or you write it in letters?
No, you just put the if you go on the chart, you'll see I think Callistus and Melody, they put the asterisk. So you say
okay.
you write something like select, right, and then you say from.
Okay, I've seen it. Thank you.
You seen it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like an asterisk.
Yeah,
Yes.
asterisk. Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. So this is.
I've got a question. Sorry. Are you at the end of the select statement, are you going to use a semicolon to end or just semicolon?
Oh yeah. That's actually such a good question. I was wondering when somebody is going to ask. I am going to explain how that relates to everything at the end. It's part of I actually have a whole slide for it, and I hope I'll reach to that slide.
So if we wanted, so the asterisk, is that applicable to anything that we want to just say all under this category? So like if we had multiple tables, or actually where, for example, if we wanted to select all under p name, could we just use the asterisk to select everything under p name, or does it only apply to this specific?
No, it doesn't apply. So for you to access things that are under the p name, right? You basically just say like, select p name. That's how you access everything under p name. The asterisk only just works when you're dealing with the attributes. For it will only pick up the attributes.
Okay, thank you.
And in most cases, if you say select, like if you say select asterisk from product name, right? And you leave it like that and you run it like that, it will show you everything inside this table. Does it make any sense?
Say that again.
I was saying, if I say select asterisk, I just told the computer to give me all the attributes and all the columns from product name. It will print out everything that we see here.
Okay.
It will print out everything that we actually see. Okay, let's keep showering the questions. Keep showering the questions as we go forward. You even see some examples in front, and I'll also answer some of the questions. So select attributes. And the attributes are explained what those are. Those are the column names, whatever table that you have. From this is the name of the table, where this is the condition under the particular attribute that you want. So if your attribute is address, so where address is equals to, then you put whatever information that you want. But then always remember, everything you put in your select statement is going to be outputted. Okay, this was another simple example where I was saying select everything from product, where category is equals to gadgets. So everything where category is equals to gadgets is going to be outputted, and the output would show every single thing that is put as gadgets. Okay, now I'm going to go behind here in this table, right? So I want you to look at this code. I want you, okay, now we have this code, okay, right here. I want you to look at this code. It says select star from product where category is equals to gadgets. What do you think is going to happen here? And I want people to write their answers in our chat, and I'm giving everybody just like 2 minutes to do it. So you have 2 minutes to write what the output is going to be.
Oh, sorry. Only
Okay, anybody who has put it in there? All contents of Gizmo and Power Gizmo will be printed. Gizmo and Power Gizmo will be printed. Okay, thank you. I'm glad people understood now. I'm glad. That's nice. Let's see next. Okay, wanna put this there. Okay, there is the answer right there. Everything from Gizmo and Power Gizmo was printed. Okay, how about this one? Before I show you the answers, how about this one? Okay, now this is interesting. I want one person to actually tell us what they think is going to be outputted right here, and I'll put and I'll put this for you to also see, so that you don't have to refer to the behind. What is going to be outputted?
So basically, what is going to be outputted here? I think the third and the fourth rows, single touch and multi touch, because the price there is greater than 100. So basically, that's what is going to happen. And then with the exclusion of category.
Okay, there you go. Nice. I like that. So when we are now the notation, right? We're not going to go deeper into the notation, but when we're now talking about the schemas, and for the graduate students, you're going to take another class. I think it's called SQL class that you're going to take. So in that class, you're going to be talking about the star schema and all the different schemas, right? When you see that, just know that this is technically information of a table. This is basically information of the table. This is not about notation. I'm not going to touch on notation today. I might need to have another session on notation because it's another concept on its own. But the idea that I'm trying to say is that when you see things like this, product name, price, category, and manufacturer, basically what that is the schema notation. They're just writing it in form of a schema. This is the same thing as the information that was actually on the table. But in this case, we just decided to remove the rows and the tuples because we're now looking at this thing high level. So that's what that means there. So that's the input schema, that's the output schema. Okay, so now we're talking about sensitivity. Before I talk about that, I would want to talk about the question that I was asked. So they said, where do we put the semicolon, right? Is that the question that I got asked? Like, where do we put the semicolon? So the semicolon in SQL basically indicates the end of the code. So if you say select and you put the semicolon, then whatever you write is not going to be related to your select statement. The computer will think that's the end of that code. So you want to say, normally, if you want to put things that technically differentiate, and also things shouldn't be written as select from where. You can literally write that on the same line. But because we want the things to look good, that's why we basically stack it up. So you can say select product name, a P name from a product where this is equals to that, then you put your semicolon at the end. That will just work just fine, but it's going to be tough for the person who's going to be reading it. So in order to make it easy, people did it, just stacked it up and down like that, like select from where, and then you end with a semicolon. A semicolon always indicates the end of your code. And if we are doing, okay, now case insensitivity. So select is just the same. Product and product is just the same, but CRO and CRO is different. So what does that mean? That means your select statement can be all caps. Your select statement can be start with a capital letter and ends with small letters, and it can all be small letters. All of these will do the same thing. For the product name, the product name, I mean, not the product name, but for the name of the, for the name of the table, it can be called product with a big P or product with the small p. That is going to be the same. But it becomes different when we are now looking at the different attributes that we have. Like, for example, if my name is Alpha, capital letter, and you write it as Alpha small letter, it's going to be different. It's not going to work. So that's like the time that is different, because we will start saying this row with a capital letter A and the row with a small letter A, they are actually not the same. So always, and when we are looking at the things that we're looking for example, if you want to say when name is equals to alpha, the alpha should always be in quotes. Not double quotes, but just single quotes. If you put double quotes, it will mean something entirely different. And there are also different operators, right? There are also different operators. And what are the different operators? For example, you can also use the word like, right? So like, it basically matches the string. This looks like this, just like how you say it, because SQL is basically English, just like how you say it. So if it says H like P, means the pattern matching of strings, we're matching S and P. So in this case, it says select star means to give me every single thing from select star basically means give me every single column. Give me every single column in from means the table called product. So give me every single column in the table called product. But I only want to see things where the P name, like, then it puts, remember the single quotes, %Grismo, %Grismo. So what does the percentage sign mean? The percentage sign, we call it the modular sign in other programming languages. But in this case, it basically says, they call it a wildcard, right? A wildcard. We just want to find any word that has got the words Grismo inside. And if you put it like this, it means it can start with Grismo, it can end with Grismo. So I don't really care any sequence. But if we removed this part, right, and we only had a gizmo like that, what this would do, it will go on our table and look at anything that follows with the name Grismo. Any word that follows with the name Grismo, meaning power Grismo would be the one that is going to be picked out, right? No, what did I just do? Yes, power Grismo is the one that is going to be picked up. If we remove this one and we just have Grismo and we put the percentage sign, we're basically saying we need can you pick anything that starts with the word Gris and ends with anything else? So Grismo will be picked out. If there's Grismo jumping or Grismo sleep, all of that is going to be picked out from there. So these are called wildcards. In this case, we're just saying we need anything that has got the middle part called Grismo. If you want the one that starts with that ends with Grismo, then you put the thing in the start, you put this in the start here, you remove this. So anything that starts, that can start with anything, but it's got Grismo will be printed. And the same thing would do if anything that ends with anything that starts with Gizmo and ends with something else is going to be printed. So that's what this thing is for, the like one. You know, you use this when you're in an organization and you don't really know what attribute that you want. You kind of have an idea. Then now we're going to talk about duplicates, right? If you have, for example, here, we have category in this attribute. Remember, category is an attribute from the first table that I explained to you. It has got gadgets, photograph, and household, right? It has got these things: gadgets, photograph, and household. So if you say select category from product, it's gonna print this out. But if you say select distinct, this is another name. This distinct, the word distinct here means I want only unique output. My output should be unique. So if you say select distinct category from product, it will go to the product table and only and select the category column and show everything in the category column, but it will remove the distinct. By distinct, it will remove the duplicates. So this code here is the same as this code, but the difference is for this one that we have here, it gave us like double things. Sometimes you want to answer, like for example, you wanna see how many people bought specific types of milk at Walmart, right? We have this table that's called milk transactions at Walmart. And then we have a category that says milk type, you know, and if we have 1,000 people, 100 people might buy like 10 milk type A, and 400 might buy 10 milk type B. But then what if I just want to see the types of milk that were being bought, right? So in that case, that's where I use distinct, because it doesn't count how many times milk appears, but only shows if milk appears 10 times, it's going to be showed once. That is what the distinct is. Okay, and then we also have another thing that we use when you're ordering your results. You can choose how you want your results to be ordered, right? You can choose how you want your results to be ordered. In most cases, you know, you can order by anything you want. You know, you can order by ascending order, or if you want to order by ascending order, you use AS. That's the DESC means you're ordering it by descending order. ASC, I've forgotten that one. I think it's ASC something. That's when you're ordering something by, yeah, it's ASCE. Yeah, you are ordering something by ascending order, meaning you're starting from, you know, like A, B, C, D going down. By descending order, you're starting from Z going to A. Just like if it's 1 to 10, that's how you, I mean, like, for example, A to Z, A, B, C, D, that's like the ascending order. The descending order will be Z, you know, Z, Y, X, and then going down the opposite direction. So only that can be, you can only put that when you're dealing with the, you know, yeah, when you're dealing with order by. So in this case, this code basically says, hey, can you select, and in my output, I want to see the P name, the price, and manufacturer. That's the first thing that you have to know. It says, I want to see the product name, the price, and the manufacturer. That's the output I want. And I want you to go to those columns, right? And I want you to go to those columns that belong to the table that is named product. And where the category, and remember, category is also another attribute in the table named product, where category is equals to Gizmo, and the price is less than, I mean, and the price is greater than 50, and the price is greater than 50. So what the computer will do at this time, it will go to that table, pull the product name, the price, and the manufacturer for everything that is called Gizmo. Even though it's called Gizmo, it should be called Gizmo, and the price should be greater than 50. If the price is less than 50, it's not going to pull it out. So for the end function, the end function, anything under the end function will always be produced when both of those two are actually correct. So if there's a category, if there's a category called Gizmo that has got the price that is, I mean, greater than 50 is going to be printed. And here it says order by price in P name. So what does that mean? That means it's going to look at the one with the, you know, like your results are going to be looked based on, your results are going to be like, your results are going to start with the highest price, because inside it, SQL just starts with the ascending order. If you specify and you put descending order, that's when it will start with the lowest price on top. But what happens at most of the cases, it will basically, you know, start with like the prices in ascending order going down. So order by is just how you want your information to be outputted. You're choosing how you want your information to be outputted. Yeah, we're left with just we're left with just 2 minutes, and I wanted to give people chance to ask questions. Let's see, I was really left with just a few more things. I think I'll have to do a follow-up workshop to continue this. I thought everything was going to be covered in 1 hour, but I guess I thought wrong. But okay, for now, I'm gonna just end here when we're looking at ordering the results. So what did we cover today? Looked at what SQL is, how SQL works with tables, and the table is a name, and the name of the table, that is what you put under your from, and select, you are selecting the attributes that are inside that table, where it's just a condition that you basically look at where the attribute is equals to something that you actually want. And then order by basically orders things in ascending order until you specify otherwise. So if you want your results ordered some form, that's when you will use order by, where it's just a condition. And if that condition is not met, things are not going to be printed. And case sensitivity is there in SQL, where your select can either be big capital letter, small capital letter, that's fine. Your product name, you can have a big P and a small p, that's also fine. But in the category, but now in the attributes, in the records should actually have their actual names. So if the name is alpha, with the capital A in your code, if you put the small a, it's not going to be able to pick me up. Yeah, so that's basically all we covered for today. I'm gonna open the floor right now for any questions.
Please, I have a question as regards to the Java class. So when do you think is going to be convenient for you to
So for my Java class, it happens 3 times a week, and we have a Snapchat group that I can add you to the software engineering Snapchat group. So I'm gonna put my number right now. Okay. Okay. I put my number in there. I put my number in there. Just send me a message. If you send me a message, I'll add you to the Java. We just had our first lesson yesterday from 6 to 8. It's really a hard dedication because it's a process for almost 2 weeks. We meet at least 3 times and 2 hours each session. So the entire goal for the Java class is that we at least give you good foundation and get ready for applying for engineering internships and for the upcoming stuff. And we also help you with any resume material that we can help. So the group is just called, for now I called it just APSU codes. It's called APSU codes, where we are just trying to make APSU students become even more technical and get at least a group that just focuses on on that. So I'll send you the days before we meet. We meet on campus. We actually meet on campus, and the classroom that we actually meet. So we have a board and everything.
That sounds great. I mean, I've sent you a message, so looking forward to.
Oh yeah. You can send me a message in your Snapchat, and then I can add you as a friend and just put you in the group. It's gonna be easier.
Snapchat.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Any more questions? Any comments?
So the notice for this particular meeting came in like 30 minutes out or an hour before the meeting. Can you, like send another one earlier than that if possible?
Oh yeah. There was a little communication hiccup with the marketing team for the Learning Resource Center. So we kind of forgot about that. So yeah, I really apologize because I have another session coming up. I think March 9, I'll be teaching on advanced Excel. Then after that, I'm gonna teach, I'll maybe like look at just machine learning. So it would depend. You should always be on the lookout, but if you're on the group and if you can text me if you need any, any view on it, I'm happy to help whenever I'm available.
All right.
Just a quick question. What of someone that doesn't use Snapchat?
Yeah, you can download Snapchat. It's free. It's easy to use. The reason why they opted for Snapchat is because they just didn't want like people being bombarded with a lot of things. In Snapchat, things just disappear on themselves if it's not needed, and you can save whatever you want. So that's what they decided to do, and they added me to it. So I was like, yeah, I think I'll just do Snapchat. Anybody else?
No, this was actually very helpful. I mean, I touched it like years ago, but I never really formally got introduced to it. So this was actually very helpful, and I appreciate you taking the time to do this.
No problem. I appreciate it. I try to make it look simple because it is simple, and I hate people who teach computer science in a complicated way. It's not supposed to be complicated.
That's right.
Okay. Oh, Alpha, just to say thank you to you for taking out your time to put us through this. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
I know, no problem, man. Always glad to help. As much as the more engineers we have out there, the better our lives will be. So,
Yeah. Alpha, please, I have one last question. What's your name on Snapchat? Alpha, right?
yeah, it's Alpha. What is it? Yeah, it's Alpha 4408.
Okay. All right.
So just look for Alpha 4408. And if you have your friends, let them know. We want to be as so many people so that we can have, different groups helping each other, because I hate seeing people on campus worrying about internships and how they think they're not good at this, yet they're doing computer science. I'm like, if we put the work in it, I think all of us are going to achieve something great.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, thank you so much, Siyabonga. Gracias. Thank you, and have a great day. And